Hello everyone, Mr. Light here. Today I want to talk about the topic, are monopolies really more evil than the perfect competition market structure? Now let's take a look at the assumptions and why I had set such a title. When we have a perfect competition, when we look at the number of buyers and sellers, basically in perfect competition there are lots of buyers and sellers, where in monopolies there is only one seller, a dominant firm. In perfect competition, there is perfect information, where there's a free flow of information. Everyone knows everything about everything. I know about you, you know about me, I know about your prices, you know about my quality. Whereas in monopolies, there is actually quite imperfect competition and there isn't free flow of information. Perhaps the most significant of all, in perfect competition, there are no barriers of entry and exit. Okay, you are free to enter the industry very easily. You can set up shop very, very easily, and you can leave it without incurring much cost. Where in monopolies, there are very high barriers of entry. It is very, very difficult to set up in the same industry. In perfect competition, there are homogeneous goods sold. All the goods sold are essentially the same. Whereas in monopolies, there are unique products. And to sum up, the consequence of this is that in perfect competition, there is intense competition, okay? There's a lot of competition within the industry, whereas in monopolies, there are no competition at all. So here, I want to address that many people feel that given that there isn't a lot of competition because of the assumptions that drives it, monopolies are actually undesirable compared to perfect competition or compared to industries with more competitive structures. Now, let's kind of go back to our textbook and just remind ourselves why monopolies are bad. And notice I put speech commas here, okay? So in this case, the firm operates where MC intersects M out, which is your profit maximizing requirement, intersects, and that gives you Q star. At Q star, the price is set over at P1, okay? At P1, and the firm is able to earn supernormal profit of the gray area, which is P1 minus P2 multiplied by Q star. Now, because it is not operating in allocative efficiently, it incurs a deadweight loss of the orange triangle here. What does the deadweight loss mean? This means that there are welfare benefits to be gained all the way up to point B. But because the firm is not allocatively efficient, it is only producing at Q star, and hence the prices are not as low as it could be, and consumers are not consuming as much as they could be, which is a point beyond Q star. Now, let's compare this to perfect competition, okay? Perfect competition is perfect. Again, I push this in speech comma. So it's on the right-hand side here. As you can see, in the long-run equilibrium at P3, the firm is operating right at the bottom of the ATC curve, meaning that it is productively efficient. P equals to MC, okay? If you look at the price equals to cuts at the point where the marginal cost. As you can see, P3 intersects a marginal cost where Q1 is being operated, and hence it is allocatively efficient, okay? And here, the most significant thing is that only normal profit is being made. All three of these advantages are things which monopolies do not enjoy. And we do actually have some real-life examples that illustrates how monopolies are actually productively inefficient. The United States Postal Service, the USPS, they are a legal monopoly on the delivery of non-urgent letters and parcels in the US. This means that the USPS have exclusive rights to deliver mail to mailboxes marked with the typical US mail or US Postal Service's markings. However, because it's so inefficient, okay, it's actually experiencing financial challenges for years, experiencing a net loss of $8.8 billion US dollars in the fiscal year of 2019 alone. Okay, there's no slower delivery times and service issues have been reported, and only 38% of the first class mail, so mail which you pay extra, okay, to go faster, are being delivered on time in 2021. In contrast, FedEx and UPS are private couriers that operate in a competitive market. They've invested heavily in logistics and technology, and they're much more profitable. For example, in 2020, UPS has reported a net income of $4.8 billion US. Now, you also have the National Railway of Zimbabwe, which is a state-owned railway company and a monopoly service provider in the country of Zimbabwe. And because of operational inefficiency, the freight transport volumes have dropped from 18 million tons in 1998 to around 2 million tons in 2019. And this has to do with inefficiencies in operations, maintenance, and infrastructure, which has resulted in decreased revenue and service quality. And lastly, you have Eskom, which is a state-owned electricity utility in South Africa, and it has a monopoly on electricity generation, transmission, and distribution in the country. Again, due to inefficiencies, aging infrastructures, and basically bad management, it has experienced significantly financial losses of over 20 billion South African rand, which is around 1.4 billion USD in the year of 2021. And that country suffers from a lot of power outage. Now let's compare the welfare generated, under the both market structures. In perfect competition, the social welfare is maximized where the entire triangle is colored, and the consumer surplus and producer surplus fully encapsulates the entire triangle, and allocative efficiency is being enjoyed. However, if you look at on the right-hand side, the firm, because it is profit maximizing and P, it's not operating where P equals to MC, it is operating at Q1, which is less than QOPT. This means that the social welfare is not maximized, leading to a deadweight loss, meaning that the firm could have produced at a lower price, allowing more can be enjoyed. How much more? QOPT minus Q1 can be enjoyed, but they chose not to do so because profit maximizing point for them is at Q1, where P is not equal to MC. So this graph is basically showing how it is not allocatively efficient. The question here is, are firms really productively inefficient? When you have the case of IKEA, the Swedish furniture retailer, which has essentially a monopoly on the affordable furniture segment, given its dominance, IKEA is actually known for offering low prices compared to other retailers. And this is achieved through its efficient supply chain, self-service model, and flat pack furniture concepts, which reduces manufacturing and transportation costs, right? So to say that they are productively inefficient, naturally productively inefficient, seems a bit defeatist, right? And when you have a company like Netflix, which has 44% of the entire streaming market, yet only charges users in Hong Kong 63 Hong Kong dollars per month to watch an array of TV series, shows, and movies, that seems like a really good deal. $63 is around like $8, right? And in Hong Kong, watching a movie is around over 100. That seems a really good deal, right? So, and they spend loads of money on content, around 16.7 billion in the year 2022. And finally, for the well-known example of Google, Google has a market share of around 92%, in the search engine market, and it essentially offers free services, right? Is it really productively inefficient? Doesn't seem so if they can set such low prices. And here I want to talk a little bit about natural monopolies, which actually justifies the needs for monopolies. A natural monopoly is a market structure, is a kind of monopoly whereby they have such significant fixed costs or startup costs that you need to allocate the entire industry to them for them to enjoy the cost benefits. For example, a nuclear reactor costs around $30 billion to make. So this one here, the one that I have in the picture, Plant Vogtle Unit 3 in the US, costs $30 billion to make. Whether the nuclear reactor supplies one household okay, or 100 million household still requires $30 billion to make. Now, in order to split up that cost and redistribute that cost amongst the different users, you need to allocate a lot of market share to this industry such that the cost can be divided, okay, amongst the different households. Therefore, you need to let the firm to dominate the entire market all the way up to Q star, such that the average cost, okay, can goes down to P star level, okay? Because if you only give it only 100 households, it's only divided amongst 100 households, right? The average cost is going to be very high. In order for the consumers to fully enjoy the low average cost, a lot of market share needs to be allocated to this firm such that they can fully enjoy the cost savings through redistributing the average fixed cost. Now, apart from allowing firms from fully enjoying the benefits of the economies of scale, there's an argument that a lot of these monopolies, they will reinvest the proceeds to further bring the cost structure down. So Tesla is very famous for continuously refining its production and logistic flow such that it can reduce the cost. Recently, the CEO Elon Musk said that he expects Tesla to reduce manufacturing costs by half, okay, in the new Gigafactory in Mexico. And the reason for that is because there are a lot of demand for cars below $30,000, okay, US dollars. And by bringing the cost down, he can bring the price down and further dominating the market. The same is for Amazon, who is very famous for refining its logistics flow, making things more efficient, okay? And recently they have cut costs by laying off 27,000 employees, okay, resulting in lower costs. And what they've also done is that they have revamped the website such that items that are already located within the region might appear high in the results, resulting in faster delivery. With the revamp, Amazon has seen a 15% reduction in the distance items from fulfillment centers to customers, and the pace of shipping costs has slowed dramatically. And what does this look like in terms of graphically? So let's just look at this diagram first, where the firm originally is producing at P old, okay? And the allocative efficient point should be at POPT, right? Where price equals to MC. However, since the firm is able to bring the entire cost structure down, right, by revamping its production services, the entire average cost curve structure actually shifts down. Okay, so this is an extreme example where the entire cost structure is now the red part, the red lines, and where the new equilibriums, it's at P new, okay? Where if you look at P new is lower than the allocative efficient point before, and if you look at Q new, it is actually higher than QOPT, and that's because the cost structure has been able to be reduced through innovation and technological growth. And this is what we call firms enjoying dynamic efficiency. Well, so which is that? Are monopolies actually productively inefficient, like the Ashcom, the Zimbabwe railway that we looked at, or are they actually efficient, like Google, Tesla, and Amazon? I think the most important thing is whether these monopolies feel the threat of competition. If they constantly feel the threat of competition, they are striving to improve themselves and further dominate their industry, because they know that if they're not careful, something that called the creative destruction theory might set in. This is when an innovative entrant might come in and completely turn over their industry and leading to their demise. And this is what happened in the telegraph industry, where telegrams used to be sent, but then because of the progress in the telecommunications industry, telephones took place, and basically the whole telegraph industry fell apart. Okay, so if monopolies are able to to feel the threat or constantly feel the threat of competition, then they are going to be more efficient, and those inefficiencies that we talked about may not necessarily take place.